Help me reach my goal and subscribe. And hit the bell icon.
Chapter 68:56. The man quickly scolded her. Shut up and eat your food. Can't you shut up with all these things? The woman didn't expect her husband to scold her, and said aggrievedly, Husband, why are you so mean to me? It's obvious this stinky old woman is looking for trouble. The man pointed at her nose and scolded her. Shut up. I told you to shut up, do you listen? If you keep talking nonsense, don't blame me for beating you here. The woman was terrified by the scolding and dared not speak. After scolding his wife, the man handed the phone to Elaine with a flattering look on his face, and said respectfully, Ms. Ma, oh no, Aunt Ma, I'm sorry, we were wrong about you. Please forgive us. This man is actually only worth tens of millions. And the Bentley is also a second-hand car. So he didn't spend much money. However, for ordinary people, he must be considered a rich man. So he likes to pretend occasionally. But he knows very well that facing a person who can spend more than $1 million to charter a private jet to the United States, his strength is definitely far behind. Elaine didn't expect that this guy was so arrogant outside the airport just now. He immediately became timid after watching a video in her circle of friends. And a proud smile of a winner immediately appeared on her face at this time. At the same time, she was also sighing in her heart. I like to post on WeChat moments to show off. It's no harm, didn't it get useful today? Thinking of this, she snorted coldly and said to the man, Boy, let me tell you, when you go out, don't always think you are the best. You must know what it means to be better than others. After all, my husband is the leader of the Calligraphy and Painting Association. You can't be too ostentatious when you go out. If I go to the Maldives alone, I will definitely take the Gulfstream G650. Do you think I am willing to sit in the first-class cabin with people like you? The middle-aged man's momentum has been completely suppressed by Elaine. And he quickly apologized. Yes, Aunt Ma, you are right. We must be more low-key in the future. Elaine nodded with satisfaction and said lightly, Let's just forget it this time, pay more attention in the future. After that, she turned around and walked back to her family with her chin held high. Jacob was stunned. Seeing Elaine coming back, he immediately whispered to her, Wife, when did you take a private plane to the United States? Why didn't I know? Claire was also surprised at this time. She naturally knew that her mother had been to the United States once, when she was taking a master class in Providence. Her mother said that she missed her and had been to the United States once. But her mother never said that she went there by private jet. Besides, how could she afford a private jet? Claire couldn't help asking. Yes, Mom, why haven't I heard that you went there by private jet? Where did you get a private jet? Elaine was a little unnatural, and whispered shyly. I used to go to Harbor City to buy things. There was a jewelry store that happened to have a promotional lottery. The first prize was worth $1.2 million, and I won it. Guess what? They didn't give 1.2 million yuan. They provided a charter flight to the United States worth 1.2 million. And it would have been a waste if I gave up this opportunity. And it couldn't be discounted. I thought that since you were in the United States, I would go to see you by the way. Chapter 68:57. Jacob was surprised and delighted. Wow, my wife, you are so lucky. This is too awesome. And you said that you let that guy see the circle of friends just now. Have you posted it on WeChat Moments? How come I don't know? Elaine coughed twice and reminded him. Keep your voice down, don't let anyone hear it. After that, she added, I blocked all of you when I posted it on WeChat Moments. I didn't want you to know. Just to keep a low profile, understand? Jacob looked puzzled. How can you be considered low-key if you blocked your family members? At this time, Claire was very confused, thinking. What kind of jewelry store would launch such an incredible lottery and prizes? It must be wrong. Then, she thought of Charlie beside her. And her mind suddenly became clear. If all this was secretly operated by him, it would not be surprising. What happened to her mother made Claire understand the truth, that is. Dad, Mom, and I are actually very ordinary people. Miracles will not happen to this ordinary family of 3. Nor will there be any windfalls and good luck. Therefore, if she analyzes all the incredible, or lucky things that happened to her family in the past few years, they are basically facilitated by Charlie behind the scenes. Dad used to be unable to hold his head up in the family. But later he was able to become the executive vice president of the Calligraphy and Painting Association. It must have been Charlie who helped run it behind the scenes. But the most embarrassing thing was that Charlie got her father such a position of executive vice president. But she didn't expect her father to cause a scandal and lose the position. After losing it, it was Charlie who stepped in again and helped him get a leadership position back. So, although Dad is not as arrogant and domineering as Mom, he has actually caused a lot of trouble for Charlie. For a while, Claire was extremely melancholic and sat in her seat sighing. Seeing that she was not in a good mood, Charlie hurriedly asked her with concern. What's wrong with you, honey? Claire looked up at him, forced a smile, and lied. I am okay, maybe I got up early and am a little tired. Charlie felt that he had guessed the reason why Claire was unhappy. So he whispered, Mom and Dad are like this, you know it very well. So don't take it to heart. Charlie felt that it must be his father-in-law and mother-in-law who did this morning, affecting Claire's mood. But what he didn't expect was that he only guessed 2/3 of it right. There were 3 people who affected Claire's mood. In addition to his father-in-law and mother-in-law, there was also himself. The middle-aged man calmed down. And the first-class lounge became much quieter. Elaine still had a smug smile on her face. She defined her victory just now as a decisive kill. This kind of hearty feeling of pretending to be successful made her very proud. Jacob also had a feeling of revenge. And from time to time he looked at the middle-aged man, who was already a little timid, and even evasive with a provocative look. The man didn't even dare to look at them with his peripheral vision, and simply turned his face away, showing only the back of his head. Charlie and Claire didn't have the nature of eating breakfast. But Elaine and Jacob had a big appetite. The 2 of them also took a lot of food and drinks, eating, taking pictures, and posting to Moments, very happy and comfortable. In the lounge, after sitting for dozens of minutes, the service staff came up and respectfully asked the 4 of them to go to the boarding gate to board the plane. This plane only has 8 first-class seats, 4 in each row. Charlie's family happened to be in the first row. And the second row was the middle-aged man surnamed Lee and his young wife. When the 2 boarded the plane, they deliberately slowed down, staying behind Charlie's family. After Charlie's family boarded the plane, they came up reluctantly. After coming up, they sat quietly in their seats and were very quiet all the way. in order to maintain the pretentiousness that they had already put on in front of the two people. Elaine and Claire did not take pictures or chat all the way. They deliberately put on a posture of often sitting in first class, which made Charlie feel fortunate. Fortunately, the two groups of people bumped into each other before boarding the plane. Chapter 68-58. After bumping, they got on the plane and everyone was much quieter. After several hours of flight, the plane finally landed in Male, the capital of Maldives. Male is small, and the airport is also small. But the remote parking spaces within sight are almost full of various luxury private planes. As a resort in the world, although the local economic development is very general and the per capita GDP is not very good, it attracts the world's top rich people to come for vacations. The reason why the rich like this place: it is because the scenery here is beautiful. The sea water is good, and the climate is also good. More importantly, this is an archipelago country. This country has thousands of large and small islands that are completely non-contiguous. Some islands are specially for local people to live in. These islands are more densely populated. But more islands are directly rented to top hotel groups and top rich people around the world. After renting a beautiful island, these hotel groups and rich people will spend a lot of money to turn it into an extremely luxurious resort. And these rich people will not have any contact with the citizens except for landing in the capital Male by plane. So the local society will not affect their holiday experience at all. After the plane landed, the family of four went out of customs and saw the most conspicuous place. A dark-skinned young man wearing a white shirt and black trousers. He is holding a sign with Mr. Wade and his family in his hand. Next to him, there were three young people dressed the same as him. One of them was holding a sign with the words Mr. and Mrs. Lee. These people all had brown skin and looked like they were South Asians, if not natives. Whitehorse Island is indeed the most luxurious resort island in the Maldives. The staff who met the passengers at the airport all had the Whitehorse Island logo embroidered on their chests, as well as badges with their names on them. The signs they held were all based on the classic LV pattern and also had the name Whitehorse Island on them, which was very sophisticated. Seeing that it was someone who came to pick him up, Charlie waved to the people, and the four of them immediately trotted forward. The young man holding the sign in the lead saw the four of them and asked respectfully in fluent Chinese, "You should be Mr. Wade, right?" Charlie nodded, "Yes." The other party said respectfully, "Hello, Mr. Wade, it's an honor to provide services for you and your family here. I am Hanny, your housekeeper on Whitehorse Island for the next 4 days. These three are my colleagues, two of whom are responsible for receiving VIPs at the airport. All your luggage can be handed over to them, and they will help you and your family transport the luggage to the seaplane. I will take you and your family to the VIP room to rest for a while. And when the seaplane is ready, I will take you on board to the hotel." Charlie smiled and said, "You speak Chinese very well." Hanny said politely, "Thank you for the compliment, Mr. Yi. I have studied Chinese for many years. On Whitehorse Island, we can provide services in the world's top 10 languages, so that you and your family will feel more at home when you arrive on the island." Elaine sighed on the side, "Oh, this luxurious island is different. Before I came here, I was worried that my English was not good and it would be inconvenient to communicate. Now it seems that there is no need to have this concern." While talking, the middle-aged man surnamed Lee, and his wife also came over. Seeing Charlie and his family chatting with the staff, who picked them up at the airport, he deliberately looked at the logo on the staff's clothes. When he found that the other party was a staff member of Whitehorse Island, his face was a little ugly, and he said to his wife in a depressed mood, "The old woman surnamed Ma is going to the same island as us. Maybe we will take the same seaplane in a while. You must pay attention to your words and try not to talk nonsense." The young woman said with a sad face, "They are haunting us. Wherever we go, they go." The middle-aged man whispered, "You know nothing. They are not short of money. They are richer than us. They will definitely choose the most expensive when they come to Maldives. This also shows that this family is really something. Anyway, everyone will have fun on their own after arriving on the island. And there is no need to deal with them. Just bear with it all the way." The young woman was a little angry and muttered, "My good mood is ruined by them. I am so annoyed." Chapter 68-59. The middle-aged man hurriedly said, "Oh, keep your voice down. It is better to have less trouble than more. Don't you understand? This time it's my fault. I should have known not to provoke this family at the airport." The young woman was very depressed. She thought it was a dreamlike and wonderful journey. Unexpectedly, she was severely suppressed by Elaine from the airport waiting room. After getting off the plane, she was suppressed by someone else. This feeling was really uncomfortable. Fortunately, Elaine already despised them in her mind. So she was too lazy to bother them. The two of them didn't say a word, and it was quiet. Charlie and his family handed their luggage to the staff, and went to the VIP lounge of Whitehorse Island to rest for a while. Unexpectedly, a few minutes later, the middle-aged man and the young woman came in awkwardly. And they were accompanied by a private butler, who was one of the other 3 staff members. When their eyes met, the man raised his hand to greet Charlie and smiled twice. Charlie nodded and smiled back. He didn't have any aversion to this man. He had seen many vain people. After all, his father-in-law and mother-in-law had reached the pinnacle. So seeing what this man did, Charlie just felt that it was understandable. Elaine was very proud to see that the other party greeted Charlie politely, thinking that it was all her credit. And she had directly made a decisive move at Oris Hill Airport. However, she did not continue to target them, but just kept looking at people with her head and chin up, with arrogance all over her face. After waiting for about 20 minutes, the housekeeper Hanny came over and said respectfully, "Mr. Wade, we can board the plane." Charlie nodded and asked him, "How long will the seaplane take?" "More than half an hour." Hanny said respectfully, "The straight-line distance is less than 200 kilometers. And we will arrive soon." "Okay." Charlie stood up and walked out of the lounge with his family. The takeoff and landing point of the seaplane is in the sea area parallel to the airport runway. The seaplane is relatively small, even smaller than the average business jet. After several people boarded the plane, they had to wear noise-cancelling headphones, because the propeller of this plane made a lot of noise during takeoff and landing, and it is impossible to communicate normally in the cabin. After the couple came up, they sat at the end. There is no communication throughout the whole process. The woman looked depressed and reluctant, and the man could only hold her hand and gently rub it to comfort her. The plane accelerated on the water, took off, and flew to the north of Mail. Along the way, they passed many beautiful islands. The layout of almost every island is similar. In addition to large areas of beaches, reefs, and forests, there are also clusters of buildings. The large main buildings are generally public facilities on the island. The scattered small buildings are independent guest villas. Some houses are in the tropical forests beside the beach. And some extend from the sea, and are directly built on the reefs on the sea. The plane landed on the water and slowly glided to the pier. When the group got off the plane, they were greeted by the slightly salty sea breeze of the tropical island. Charlie booked the best water house for his family for 4 nights. After landing on the island, the housekeeper drove a golf cart and took the family of 4 to the guest room. While introducing them to the basic situation of the island. Whitehorse Island has many supporting facilities, including 6 restaurants of various types, more than 1 bar and spa, and provides almost all the marine entertainment you can think of, including various diving activities. Of course, all of these are charged separately. A casual Western meal, or a Maldivian local-style meal here costs at least $500 per person. Even if you just do an ordinary essential oil SPA massage, it will cost at least $1,000 or $2,000. The cost-effectiveness can be said to be almost zero. Chapter 6860. Although the accommodation fee does not seem to be very expensive. Once you get on the island, all kinds of expenses are ridiculously high. However, the guests who come here are basically very rich. And hundreds of thousands of dollars may just be a number. So everyone can accept it. After the family settled down in 2 rooms and took a short rest, Charlie prepared to have a meal first. He sent the introduction of the restaurant on the island to the WeChat group of the family of 4. Elaine was the first to express her opinion. Let's try the local seafood tonight. I heard that the locals cook seafood very deliciously. Okay. Charlie immediately used the room phone to contact the housekeeper and asked the housekeeper to help book a seat at the Maldivian local-style restaurant. After booking a seat, the family of 4 changed into t-shirts and shorts in the style of a seaside holiday, and walked all the way from the water house to the restaurant in the sea breeze. The scenery along the way was so beautiful that Jacob and Elaine almost never put down their phones. However, Claire didn't feel interested. She took small steps alone, clapping her hands in front of her and behind her, feeling very bored. Charlie asked with concern. "Wife, why do you seem to be in a bad mood? Are you not satisfied with the environment here?" Claire forced a smile, shook her head, and said, "Maybe it's still a bit of a toss along the way. I haven't recovered yet, and my period is about to come. So I feel a little weak." Charlie hurriedly said, "I have some blood replenishing medicine. I will give you some when we go back." What Charlie wanted was to come back and quickly get some pills in the water for Claire to drink. But Claire shook her head slightly and said, "Don't bother, I guess it will be fine after the meal." Charlie nodded, feeling that she was not quite right. But he didn't know what was wrong. He was not so sensitive about emotions, so he attributed her condition to the tricky actions of Jacob and Elaine, as well as the fatigue of the journey. And then he just wanted to order some delicious food to replenish Claire's energy. When the 4 of them arrived at the Maldives-style restaurant, the setting sun was just hanging above the sea. The fiery red sun dyed the surrounding clouds, sky, and sea red, giving the feeling that the sea and sky were one color. There were not many people in the restaurant. After all, there were 6 restaurants here, which could well divert the guests so that each restaurant would not be noisy. The family chose a seat where they could see the sunset and the sea view. Charlie handed the menu to Claire and Elaine, wanting them to order some dishes they liked. At this time, Jacob looked outside the restaurant and couldn't help but exclaim, "Damn, that man has 2 wives." Charlie, Claire, and Elaine all subconsciously followed his gaze and saw a man with a Middle Eastern appearance, holding 2 women wearing headscarves on the left and right. The key is that both women are pregnant. Elaine muttered, "What's the fuss about this? Isn't it stipulated by law that they can marry 4 wives?" After that, seeing Charlie's face full of shock, she asked in surprise, "Good son-in-law, don't think about this kind of thing. Don't envy them, their system is different from ours, just observe it." Charlie came back from the shock, smiled awkwardly, and said, "Mom, I'm not envious, this person is a friend of mine." "Friend?" The family of 3 was surprised. They didn't expect Charlie to meet a friend here. And Charlie also confirmed the identity of the other party again. Although he was not wearing a military uniform, he was indeed his Syrian warlord buddy, Hamid.